if you're seeing this live, you're in a position where you are in our Facebook group. If you are seeing or hearing this via audio or on YouTube, you are out of the group and you are in a position where you're seeing this probably 3 weeks behind the time that we were actually shooting this. But if you want to be in for this to go live every single week on Tuesday without fail, all you need to do is join our Facebook group. It is in the description below on YouTube and in the show notes for the audio version. So today, what we're going to be talking about is, and this is team chat, by the way, for anyone that is unfamiliar, is with Coach Brett Owens and your boy, James Gillespie. We're hosting. Today, what we're going to be chatting about is having a plan, right? Having a plan for your health, having a plan for the gym, having a plan for nutrition, having a plan for overall health and wellness promotion. And I'm going to kind of turn it over to Brett first. Usually these topics come directly from experiences that we have had with clients recently, or from our check-in forums, or from some other form of communication with clients. So Brett, kind of walk us through why this is even a pertinent issue right now, today, and we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, for sure. So main reason I'm bringing this up today is just because, I talk to a lot of people every day, and the number one thing that's kind of held them back from maybe getting the help that the number one thing that's kind of holding them back is just, they can get to the gym. That's the biggest step to take, right? That's the hardest part, is getting through that threshold, the doorway there. But going in and just not really knowing what to do. Like they go in there, they might jump on a couple machines here and there. They might get on the treadmill for an hour or so and then dip. And, they do that consistently for a few months and they're not seeing the results that they want to see. And so it gets a little easier to fall off the tracks, and it just becomes like kind of this endless cycle. So I thought having a discussion here of like why it's important to have a plan and know what you're doing when you walk into the gym will get you to goal so much faster than just kind of hoping for the best, walking in and hoping for the best.
Yeah, that's fair enough. As far as a plan, having a plan, what do you think the components of the plan are that are necessary to make sure that you succeed faster?
So, obviously my dog's flopping around over here. Obviously, you need to know exactly like how, like what kind of training is even, what kind of training you enjoy doing, right? Maybe it's CrossFit, maybe it's, bodybuilding, maybe it's just, some form of training that you think would be something that you can see yourself enjoying. So having that there and then breaking that down into segments is like, maybe sets and reps, looking at your rest time, things like that, just having a good blueprint when you're walking in there of like what it is that you need to be doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna add on that, but I'm gonna come back a little bit. I think first you got to have a goal, right? You got to know what the heck you're even trying to accomplish.
Yeah, of
So
course.
you gotta know what you're trying to accomplish. Is that aesthetics? Is that strength? Is that pound for pound strength? Is that size? Right? Is it you just want your ass to be juicy? Like what are we talking about here? Right? I think first and foremost you need a goal. From then goal, right? Maybe you look at the ways that you could get to goal, evaluate the ways that you could get to goal, right? With different types of with different modalities, right? Or types of training. I think that that's definitely the case. But I think that before you can put in reps, sets, rest periods, you got to know how much time you're willing to allocate, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much time are you willing to spend in the gym? Are you willing to spend moving? Are you willing to spend meal prepping? Are you willing to spend on all the other facets that are necessary for you to hit goals in a short amount of time? I think that's primary. On that side. And then you might look into, hey, from the amount of time that I'm willing to allocate to this, what time of day can I go? And on what days does it serve me best? And then maybe we jump into rep sets, rest periods. And that, in my opinion, is informed by what does the gym layout look like? How busy is it when you're there?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And how many people and what are they doing there while you're there? Because you might walk in, at 3:45 right after McIntosh High School or Stars Mill High School gets out, and everyone and their mother that's 14 to 18 is there, and they're standing around playing on their phone, taking pictures with their girly pops in the mirrors at World Gym, right? That's maybe not the time to be trying to do trisets, right? There's not really enough equipment open. So I think that yes, you need a plan, but I think a lot of it a lot of things inform the plan before you even get your booty in there, right?
Mm.
Is there anything you want to add on that?
No, I mean that's a good point. You're looking at it, I think, from a different kind of lens that I was looking through. But yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, just looking at your schedule, knowing how much time you can put aside for it, and like also, I guess to that too is like we're not talking about every single day, right? If you can look at 3 days out of the week where you can allocate 30 minutes to an hour of doing some kind of movement, um, then I think that kind of, gets you in the right position.
Yeah. So, what's the goal? How much time, like what modality do you think that you want to use to get there or try to use to get there? How much time are you willing to spend on this health and wellness journey, right? Then also, what kind of sets, reps, and schemes can you put together based on time of day working out, who you working out with, and what does session look like, frequency, and then kind of rolling into what you said. And I think that there's also something to be said for understanding the length of time it's going to take to try to get where you're trying to
Mm,
get, right? I think that a lot of people go into the gym and they're like, hey, I'm going to come in and I'm going to just smack my butt in here 6 days a week and do more volume than C-Bum does, and I'm going to look like him in 6 months. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of people that you look at, that anyone looks at, that are doing big things or at the peak of their sports, they have a whole lot more rest and recovery than most people think. They might
mm,
do a ton of volume, but how much recovery are they doing? How much food is prepped for them? How much sauna, ice, acupuncture, massage, chiro, PT are they doing outside?
yeah.
Are they taking peptides? Are they on TRT? Are they doing other things that also would give them a more advantageous position to hit goals in a shorter amount of time? Because everyone knows, right, on Instagram, a lot of people edit their photos, a lot of people edit their videos, a lot of people use filters. I mean, we're in a materialistic world out here, and I'm not here to assign any value or take away any value from that. But you do got to kind of know what you're trying to do and what's realistic to get there. And I think that we both have experience with people coming in where people will say, oh man, I want to lose 40 pounds and I want to gain 20 pounds of muscle in 3 months.
Right.
Are you going to take drugs?
Yeah.
Because if you're not, I don't really know how that's going to happen where you end up looking the way that you're trying to look.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that there's maybe a um, misunderstanding of how fat can be burned and like how much at a time can be burned and
Burn
like
too,
right, yeah, right. But like how much at a time can be burned and like what is required for those things. Like I think a lot of people come in thinking that maybe it's going to be just really really hard, and I know that I can't put aside 7 days a week for 2 hours at a time, and they don't realize that it doesn't take that as long as all these other things are kind of in line and work in tandem with each other. You don't have to take 7 days a week. You could take three, and like we've talked about before, if you want to take three and get as little dose of exercise as possible, the nutrition also has to be on point. So if we can keep the nutrition on point and eat as much protein as possible, that we can that is conducive with like our goal, we won't have to work out 7 days a week. We can just do 3 days a week so that you don't have to like allocate a ton of time every single week to exercise and go about it that way. But I mean, like again, that just kind of just goes back to like you got to have a plan on the exercise side. You got to have a plan on the nutrition side. You got to have, things have to make sense. You can't just go in there, you know, throw a bunch of shit at a wall and hope that it sticks.
Yeah, man, definitely not. You got to be methodical. And I would recommend, and I think you probably would too, reverse engineering is important, right? Figure out
Yeah.
where you want to go before you start. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't walk or you don't lift any weights before you know where you want to go, but give it some actual time with a journal, with some time away, with 20 minutes in the middle of the day sometime or before bed or before you go into work. Take some time to look at what do you actually want, right? Because the more you
Mm-hmm.
can refine that and the more you look at it and then correct it day over day, if it's not something that you want, the closer you're going to get to goal, dude. Because your
Yeah.
actions are going to start tracking towards it. If you don't have awareness of how it is changing and where the goalpost is, how the heck are you going to get there?
Right. Yeah. And I guess kind of to that point too is like a lot of people I know will probably say, well, there's so much information out there. Like, how do I know what to follow? How do I know where to go, or like what's right, what's wrong? And to that, I say, like, all you can do is pick one of those things. If one of those things sounds like it's something that you might want to try, pick that thing and do that. And if it doesn't work, throw that out, pick another thing that you think would work until you find something that does. I mean, like I've said it since I've started like 12 years ago. It is the longest trial and error process until you find something that works for you, that you can stick with, and that can be that you can do sustainably, that you can do consistently. And that's not always, not to hate too much, but I mean that's not always going to be these super restrictive diets and these crazy exercise plans that require you to work out all the time. Like, it doesn't always have to be that way.
That is true. And so, on that note, what we're going to do is we are going to go our separate ways. That is the first live recording into our Facebook group. I don't know why we hadn't thought of this before, but we should have. We are here now. And these go out every single Sunday. But if you're listening to this from a recording on YouTube or Anchor, Spotify, Apple Music, etc., you are hearing it a few weeks after we have streamed it live. So if you want to be on the live and you want to be able to ask questions, a little Q&A or comment on it as we are going along, I do have the window pulled up next to me, right? So if anyone was to comment or ask questions, I can see them and we can jump into things. So if that's something you're into, show up in the Facebook group live. If it's not, catch these recordings. Otherwise, we will see y'all later. You can find Brett everywhere at Coach_Brett _Owens.
Yep, you got it.
Yep, that's literally everywhere. On Twitch, on YouTube. He's also Retro Games. He streams 3 times a week right now?
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 to 10.
Yeah, if you're into
Eastern.
gaming and some health stuff, he weaves the two together. Otherwise, we will see y'all next time, and hang out for 2 seconds, Brett.